You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
What you're seeing now is a shot from the First Alert 7 Odessa iCam at around 7 o'clock this morning. This is the first video that we have from right after a plane had crashed in Odessa. In our top story tonight, we learn more details about this tragedy. Thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and this morning, a plane taking off from Odessa's Schleiermacher Field Airport crashed, killing the 2 people on board.
It's a sad day in Odessa.
According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, the 1991 Cessna 550 was being flown by 48-year-old Joseph Vincent Summa with 49-year-old Jolene Cavaretta Weatherly as his passenger. Eyewitnesses say that the plane was struggling to gain altitude, clipping power lines, damaging a local business, and then eventually crashing to the ground, setting multiple buildings on fire.
Reaction was a car exploded or a house is on fire, but again, we kept seeing sparks. The dogs physically jumped when the explosion happened. It was so loud.
One person was injured in the fire and taken to the hospital.
I said a little prayer for those that may be involved in the plane and on the ground too. I mean, we don't want this to happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere, and we sure don't like seeing it in our neighborhood, but it's here. We're going to do the best to our ability and take care of it and just pray for those affected.
A representative from the FAA out of Lubbock has made his way down to investigate. And the Odessa chapter of the American Red Cross has opened up a temporary evacuation shelter at their office on Tanglewood for anyone who was affected by the fire from the crash. The plane crash did affect the ECISD Alternative Center. According to officials, the crash knocked out the power to the center, so students had to start their school day at Wilson and Young Medal of Honor Middle School. The power was restored by 1 o'clock and students were able to return to finish their day. Looking at some news from across West Texas, Derek Chauvin, the ex-police officer who was convicted of killing George Floyd, has been moved to the Federal Correctional Institution in Big Spring. Chauvin was being held in a prison in Arizona, but he was stabbed 22 times about 9 months before being moved to Big Spring. He's serving a 21-year-long federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights and a 22-and-a-half-year state sentence for second-degree murder. A memorial has been installed to honor the people who lost their lives in the 2019 Mobile mass shooting. 7 people were killed and 22 others were injured as the shooter drove along 42nd Street in August of 2019. The shooter was killed by police right outside the Synergy in Odessa. The shooting happened 28 days after a mass shooting in El Paso left the West Texas community shaken. The Bright Star Memorial was installed yesterday at UTPB to remember the victims who died in that tragedy. UTPB will be lighting that memorial up and doing a dedication next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. You'll be able to watch the dedication live on KWWT My 30 Thursday night. The boil water notice has been lifted for the city of Kermit. That notice was originally put in place on Sunday evening after several mechanical and electrical issues happened and the pumps had to be restarted. Kermit city officials advise residents should still flush their pipes, ice makers, and water fountains for 1 to 2 minutes before using it. They also say people should replace or clean their water filters. If residents have any questions about the notice, they're asked to call the city of Kermit. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller. Tom, it's hot and I really don't have anything else to say.
That's all. I've run out of ways to say hot, okay, or describe it differently, but it is hot. It's going to get a little hotter here. Today we were up to 102 degrees out at the Midland International Air and Spaceport, 104 in Big Spring and Monahans. And again, Marfa just came online today, so ignore that as temperatures were into the mid-90s, 95 degrees in and around the Alpine area. So everybody was hot. We've not cooled off a lot. Still into the mid-90s out there and all the way up to 102 in Rio Grande Village. Earlier, up around 111 degrees this afternoon, and current winds, they're out of the southeast, so there's a little bit of breeze, but it's not cooling too much off out there across the area. And taking a look at those hourly temperatures again, They're going to try to cool off a little bit into the upper 70s, but overall a very warm overnight. And then look at the heat, the 104 plus coming back in the forecast for tomorrow.
Thank you, Tom. We've got a story all new at 9 now. Lately, the Odessa Development Corporation has seen significant changes in leadership. Former President Chris Crow and former Vice President Jeff Russell were both removed from the ODC. Tonight, a new president and vice president were officially appointed. First Alert 7's Isabella Garriga was at Odessa City Hall. She joins us now live from the studio with details from tonight's meeting. Isabella?
Both the new president and vice president of the ODC were a little caught off guard by their nominations and appointments. Despite the surprise, both leaders accepted their positions and said that they are ready to guide Odessa's economic future. Now, let's meet them. Melanie Holman, the newly appointed vice president of the ODC, has worked with the organization in various capacities for over a decade. Over the last 14 years, she has witnessed millions of dollars in capital investment flow into Odessa.
During my tenure with ODC, there have been numerous changes to the board, and really anytime there's a change, I like to focus on sticking with the mission of the entity and just continuing the work of economic development.
ODC's mission remains clear: addressing infrastructure needs, workforce development, housing, and the broader economic development of the area. James Kirk, the new president of the ODC, has been a longtime observer and supporter of the organization. Kirk has always been passionate about his hometown's economic growth, specifically how local sales tax dollars can benefit businesses and diversify income streams.
Just looking forward to helping the community in so many ways of both infrastructure, workforce development, and new businesses coming in, helping them get going in this community, and where our strengths and weaknesses are, helping them out in the strengths.
Both leaders are focused on long-term growth, committed to ensuring that Odessa thrives not only for its current residents, but for future generations.
One of the reasons that I care about economic development is I have a young son, and I hope that when he's an adult, there are lots of opportunities here for him to make his life here in Odessa when he's grown and has a family.
The ODC board wants Jeff Moore, the current attorney of the ODC, to serve in more of a consultant role. Both Moore and Jones, along with the ODC and the city, will receive the final copies of communications.
As far as I know, we're going to still be working with him to review different MOUs along the way, different projects along with the city.
The ODC plans to move forward with their new leaders while maintaining a strong relationship with the Odessa City Council.
Going forward, I look forward to working with the City Council and everything they do. I'll be having meetings with them on the council meetings to explain where we are on each project, and that's something I haven't done yet.
It's been an honor to serve on ODC during all this time, and I just intend to do the best job that I can do going forward.
Along with appointing Kirk as president and Holman as vice president, ODC board member David Boutine was named assistant secretary. These appointments were made through a unanimous vote among the current board members. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Isabella Garriga.
Thank you, Isabella. The city of Midland is hosting town hall meetings for residents to attend and learn more about what happens in Midland. According to the city, each district representative will attend a town hall in their districts. This gives people the opportunity to meet their elected officials and discuss issues that are important to them. There will also be a Q&A with council members and staff. The meetings kick off on August 28th, beginning with District 2 Town Hall. For a full list of when these meetings are, be sure to check the City of Midland's website. And a West Texas teacher is helping students across the state learn virtually. Today was the first day of school for Texas Connections Academy. It's a public online school with a state-approved curriculum and licensed teachers.
So for all our students, the curriculum is fully written. So they'll log in to the platform and they'll see a day of lessons. They'll click through those lessons, they'll start completing them, but at any time during that time, teachers are always here.
A few years ago, the COVID-19 pandemic turned all learning virtual. But now, 4 years later, lots of students have continued online learning as it's better suited to their lifestyles.
I had a kid that was an ambassador to the Philippines. I have kids that are equestrians. I have kids that are gymnasts. And then I have kids that don't feel comfortable in their homeschool. Or I have kids that just want to try something else.
There are currently 103 students in the Permian Basin who are enrolled in Connections. And a temporary restraining order is delaying accountability ratings for school districts across Texas. Midland ISD says they are not a part of the Texas Education Agency lawsuit, and they're voluntarily sharing their internal projected calculations. The district believes that for the 2023-2024 school year, MISD will receive an overall C rating, with 66% of campuses projected to improve or maintain their overall score and student achievement ratings, 63% of campuses calculated to improve or maintain academic growth, and 68 expected to close the gap and receive an A to C rating. On the other side of projected ratings, 3 schools are expected to receive an F rating. Those campuses will be subjected to a forced F. Again, these are all projected ratings and not the official TEA scores. Midland ISD Superintendent Dr. Stephanie Howard released a statement about the unofficial scores, saying in part, quote, "It's important for us to celebrate the wins for our students and staff who work tirelessly to close gaps. However, we will not let our foot off the gas. We are focused on continuous improvements across the entire organization in the coming year, and while we are not where we want to be, our projections are showing marked improvement across the district." Coming up, the West Texas Food Bank has a new plan for helping get fresh produce to seniors. We'll tell you the details next. The West Texas Food Bank has received a grant for its dedication to the community and well-being of children and families. The grant comes from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. The organization plans on using the grant to help more seniors get fresh produce. In total, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas was awarded more than $25 million in grants to community organizations like the West Texas Food Bank.
Well, we are going to be looking at more heat, worse than today, 104 plus coming up tomorrow. When will it end? Well, we'll talk about that coming up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, we did see another extremely hot day across the area. Taking a look at the current temperatures, they're trying to cool off, but still hanging on to the 90s. It's still HOT out there, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Really, overnight tonight will be very warm, and then tomorrow, looking at temperatures back into triple-digit territory. We're still hanging on to 102 down towards Rio Grande Village. As of course, as we take a look at the weather makers, this big empty spot right in here, that's the area of high pressure, big ridge all the way through the plains. Even though there is a little disturbance riding up and over it, causing thunderstorms across Colorado and northern New Mexico. Nothing doing here in the West Texas area, really the state of Texas, and this high pressure not moving away until later on in the weekend. It'll gravitate to the north and northeast, so at least we won't be under the center of it, and that's going to help our temperatures. But right now, though, we're underneath this, and it is causing hot readings out there as we're still looking at temperatures into triple-digit territory for many areas across the state today, up to 102 right along the Texas Gulf Coast, Houston, Corpus Christi, 105 in the San Antonio area, 103 in Presidio, 102 in El Paso, and that's what we had here across the Midland International Air and Spaceport. Your futurecast is showing that other than high clouds, nothing really showing up in the sky over the next 24 to 48 hours. We may see a few cumulus clouds try to develop here and there into the mountain areas, but that's really about it. And then for tomorrow afternoon into Thursday afternoon, about the same thing with just a couple of clouds in the mountain areas. It looks like any showers are going to hold off and stay out of our forecast for the time being. So again, things look pretty quiet. It's going to be quiet tonight. We'll keep a high cloud around. Temperatures into the mid 70s out there. Tomorrow, looking for temperatures up to 104 plus. Across the area, 107 out towards Monahans, maybe even a little hotter than 107 in the Pecos area. And your First Alert 7 10-day forecast, it looks hot all the way through the rest of the week. The worst of it coming up on Thursday, and then 102 on Friday, and then we'll see temperatures maybe just a hint milder into the upper 90s for the weekend. And then we start to see a little bit of a downward trend and a little more seasonal weather moving into next week and following week. As rain looks to stay out of our forecast, not looking for any rain showers anytime soon.
We're checking on the Midland Legacy Rebels and the Marfa Shorthorns. More pigskin previews after the break. It's time for some more Pigskin Previews. We've got two great football stories for you tonight, starting with the Midland Legacy Rebels, now winning 6 district titles in a row. Despite losing some key players, they believe that they can make their 7th.
When it comes to the Midland Legacy Rebels, they never rebuild. They just reload.
We don't ever talk about rebuild. You know, we win 6 district championships in a row. There's been a lot of graduates.
And we lost a lot, but I mean, we're still going to come back, be the same team as we were last year. I mean, if not a little better.
One of the graduates from last year is Marcos Davila, who finished his career as the all-time passing yards and passing touchdown leader with Midland Legacy. This year, senior Jaden Rogers will step in at quarterback.
You know, it feels great. I learned a lot from Marcos, obviously, the past 2 years that I've been behind him, but he's taught me a lot and about the offense, ins and out of our offense, how to pick up certain things on the defense and just read coverages and stuff like that. But definitely feels good that it's like my turn now, you know.
He's worked his tail off. He's a college football player. He has offers. He's a little different. He gets more of a dual threat, and but he can make the same comeback, the deep throws that Marcos can. So we're real excited about him.
Rogers will throw to returning 1,000-yard receiver Aiden Serrano. He's looking to be a leader alongside Caden Ellis, Nick Moore, and a deep receiving core.
They kind of look at me as, you know, I'm going to learn from this kid. Hopefully, I hope so. But, yeah, really just being a man of my craft and showing them the ways.
With Damian Johnson graduating, Andrew Hodge and Mackenzie Rogers will share time at running back.
They'll run through you. They'll get out of tackles. They got a ton of speed. Not scared of nothing. They'll take the ball and go.
Dylan Rowamish and Peyton Arthur will lead the offensive line. Drew Nishis and Terry Ojo-Pagogo will lead the defensive line, with Brylan Zeno and Cole Neverland moving over to linebacker.
I feel like being at that position, I get a better feeling for my team, just like mentally and physically. I'm able to like connect with them on a different type of level.
It's been different. I mean, I learned a lot of it last year watching Gilbert and all that. But, I mean, safety and Sam, I was kind of like built into it.
For Hartman, if the Rebels want to compete for a state title, it begins with building chemistry against tough teams in non-district like Euless Trinity, Allen, and Lake Travis.
Your coaches will be tested, your players will be tested. What type of preparation do you have? What type of, how well can you coach? Because when you play good opponents, they're going to give you things you got to fix in the game. So we're excited about that. And, you know, from there, we're going to keep trying to do this and be peaking at the right time. We plan on winning every one of them damn things.
In Marfa, the Shorthorns are preparing for the 2024 season following a 6-4 record in 2023. Now, there's a lot of optimism for the Shorthorns, rallying behind first-year head coach Kevin Pippin.
It's been great. You know, it was my first year as head coach, so I was a little nervous, but first day, 2 days, the nerves have been away. You know, these kids are great. You know, they trust me, they love me. I feel like if I told them to, they'll run through a wall, man. It's awesome.
It was great. I wait the whole school year, summer for it. It's amazing. I love football. I'm glad it's back.
The Marfa Shorthorns are led by Kevin Pippin for the first time. Pippin was with the team last year, but he now takes the head job in a competitive district.
You know, we were 6-4 last year, but we got a tougher schedule coming up this year. I think we're projected to go 2-8, so it's going to be tough, but, you know, we're up for the challenge.
Marfa returns a lot of players from last year, but one big change is coming at the quarterback position. Last year's starter graduated, and that opened the door for junior Alejandro Rodriguez.
You know, it's going to be hard, but, you know, I think I can get us through it. And we're working to get better. You know, our schedule's a little hard this year, but I feel like it's going to get us better this year, get us ready for district.
Running the rock for Marfa this year will be returning multi-year starter Derek Campos. He's been productive over the past 2 seasons for the Shorthorns, but he's the first to credit his blockers.
My guys up top, they'll give me the blocks I need. We have some tough teams this year, but I think they'll give me the blocks I need.
Campos will also be a leader on the defense, standing as a quality linebacker. Pippin says the scheme is likely to be different than it was in 2023, when the Shorthorns ran more of a spread offense. Week 1 is a tough start for Marfa, taking on last year's state champions, the Gordon Longhorns.
Still ahead, we've got a final look at your First Alert 7 forecast that's coming up after the break.
Well, a lot more heat headed our way. We're up to 102 today, about 104 tomorrow across the Midland, Odessa area. The worst of it looks to be on Thursday before we see a little bit of help headed our way in the way of high pressure moving out of the area and some 90s back in our forecast for the weekend. So that will be a welcome change.
So I need to go swim in a pool this weekend, is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
It's going to be way too hot.
Can I join you, Lauren? Can I join you?
Feel free. You want to hang out?
Yes, this all black was not the move today.
No, it is far too hot today and going to continue to be far too hot. Thanks for joining us for CBS 7 First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.